So there is a ton of news about the fourth stimulus payments, folks, that you want to know. The IRS announced that another batch of checks will be sent out. Here's the latest news if you're on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or RRB. If you're still missing stimulus money, then know this. The IRS has reported that it has already completed sending out the $1,400 stimulus checks. But many of you may qualify to get more money depending on your 2021 taxes. As part of the American Rescue Plan, the IRS issued more than 175 million economic impact payments to help people cope with the effects of the crisis. As part of the American Rescue Plan, the IRS issued more than 175 million economic impact payments to help people cope with the effects of the crisis. The legislation gave the IRS a December 31st, 2021 deadline to distribute those payments, which amounted to the third stimulus check for the crisis. Last week, the IRS announced it has officially sent out all third stimulus payments, but an important thing to remember, friends, is that some $1,400 third stimulus checks may still be in the mail. In an official news release, the IRS is no longer issuing third stimulus payments as required by law. If you never got your third stimulus check or think you may be due more money, please don't worry, because the third economic impact payment was an advance payment of the 2021 recovery rebate credit. So you can recoup missing funds by claiming the credit on your tax return, and this is especially important because the IRS used tax information from your 2020 return or earlier to calculate stimulus payments, and more money may be available if your circumstances have changed since then. Ultimately, the amount of your recovery rebate credit is based on your income and the number of eligible dependents on your 2021 taxes. If your income has dipped from the amount on your 2020 tax return, or if you added a new dependent to your family in 2021, you may be able to claim additional stimulus money when you file your taxes this season. Some awesome news also is that if you had a baby in 2021 and claim your child as a dependent on your 2021 tax return, you'll be eligible for a new check of up to $1,400. Likewise, if you've added another dependent, which could be a grandchild, parent, or other qualifying relatives, you may be able to claim up to $1,400 per person. The IRS is also encouraging new parents to claim the child tax credit on their 2021 tax returns to receive a credit of up to $3,600 per child. Tax season has already officially started and runs until April 18th in most states. In most cases, it's advised as soon as possible. That's done to get a speedy refund. Many of you are also wondering about the next monthly child tax credit. Well, if the benefit has been extended, as Democrats proposed in the Biden administration's Build Back Better plan, another check would have been sent in the second week of January. It's clear after just 6 months of payments, the expanded and improved monthly child tax credit payments really helped millions of Americans financially. According to a study, the first installment of the child tax credit lifted 3 million kids out of poverty. That reduction represented a quarter cut in the monthly child poverty rate to 11.9%. Democrats aim to pass a bill this year to continue the payments, part of a broader measure to expand the social safety net for low-income, middle-income families. The House already passed a $3.5 trillion budget framework that paves the way for the committees to draft formal legislation. The measure must get passed by the Senate as well. But one obstacle is Senator Manchin. He's made things really difficult for us, and hopefully, I just hope that President Biden can get this job done. Now, what do you think? Do you think that President Biden can get the job done? Tell me in the comments down below, everybody.
Now, last on forced arbitration. Last night, Congress took an important and overwhelmingly bipartisan step forward in the fight to eliminate forced arbitration for victims of sexual harassment and assault. By a large margin, 335 to 97, our House colleagues approved legislation that for the first time ever would ensure people who face sexual harassment or assault at work have the freedom to hold employers accountable in court. It would eliminate the long-used practice of including forced arbitration clauses in employee contracts, which for so long have effectively served as a condition for employment. I commend my House colleagues for approving forced arbitration legislation with overwhelming bipartisan support. But if you look at the vote, it's pretty clear that a majority of both parties voted for this legislation. It's my intention to move on this bill as quickly as we can in the Senate, and we hope to take action here on the floor as soon as this week. I expect it will be met with nothing less than broad support from both parties, enabling us to move quickly. The legislation has been years in the works, and I want to recognize my friend, Senator Gillibrand, who has spearheaded the cause of ending forced arbitration on this issue for a long time. Thanks to her leadership, we're close to seeing this change become law. I also want to recognize Senator Graham. Because of his backing and his work with Senator Gillibrand,
Morning. Pleased to be joined today by Vice Chair Aguilar, of course, as well as Assistant Speaker Catherine Clark, and my good friend DCCC Chair Sean Patrick Maloney from New York. We had an amazing January jobs report, which continues the economic growth and the job creation that has occurred under Joe Biden's presidency. In President Biden's first year, 6.6 million jobs have been created. That's more job creation in a president's first year than at any other point in American history. Democrats deliver for the people. Economic growth has increased at the highest rate in 40 years under President Joe Biden. Democrats deliver for the people. When President Biden took office, the unemployment rate was 6.6%. Now it's at 4%. Democrats deliver for the people. There are issues that remain for us to deal with, and Democrats are dealing with them decisively as it relates to inflation and some of our supply chain dynamics. That is why House Democrats passed the America Competes Act. That's going to invest in additional job creation, invest in dealing with the supply chain dynamics that occur, invest in technology and innovation, invest in research and development, invest in America continuing to be a leader in the global economy, and make sure that every single American and every single zip code can pursue the great American dream. A lot has occurred in President Biden's first year in partnership with House Democrats and Senate Democrats, and we're going to continue to deliver for the American people. It's my honor to yield to Vice Chair Pete Aguilar.
this proposal has gotten the momentum it needs to move forward. Despite disagreements on both sides, legislation like this is a prime example of both parties finding a way to work together on legislation that will make a tangible difference in people's lives. We want to work with our Republican colleagues on similar proposals whenever possible, because at the end of the day, ending forced arbitration for sexual harassment and assault is about making our workplaces safer, holding abusive employers accountable, and making sure that every American can exercise their right to justice in a court of law.